A few years ago, this guy is shirtless, getting drunk in the studio with us, Jerry, and now he's going to sell out Nationwide Arena.
Our favorite.
Bert Kreischer, what's up, my man?
Hey, guys, I can still get drunk and shirtless with you in the studio.
You have people now, Bert. We were saying, what an ascent you've had. You go from we first meet, you're headlining the Funny Bone, and is that the power of social media, you think?
No, it's the power of Torg Elliott.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
of course.
I attribute all my success to you guys. If it wasn't for you guys, I would have never got that Netflix special.
Yes, sir.
I think it's a combination of a bunch of things. I think social media is really so important. It gives the artist the opportunity to control their conversation with their fans and connect with their fans. And back in the days it was tastemakers, great tastemakers, but at times, but sometimes bad tastemakers who decided if you got a special or if you headlined a Funny Bone or if you headlined an improv or if you even got to do radio. I mean, getting the struggle to get on radio when you were a young comic 10 years ago, 15 years ago was an uphill battle. You get to Columbus, and if they said you were doing Torg Elliott, you were like, nice, I'll sell tickets. You know?
Yeah.
And so social media has kind of put the power back in the artist's hand. But listen, at the end of the day, you got to write material. You got to be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Bert, now, so you're doing stadiums. That means more money. I notice when my kids listen and, I have an endorsement, my kids will come home and go, oh, Dad, I heard your endorsement. Can I have a nicer car? Can I are your kids and wife kind of like, hey, Dad, can I?
Cha-ching.
Let's move.
No.
Let's move to Beverly Hills.
It's so funny. My kids, this is a good story. It's a little disconnected. I apologize if anyone gets offended by the story. But my daughter, I had a lease on a 5 Series BMW, and it was up. It was my car.
Yeah.
It was up, and I could buy it back for $33,000, which was a good buyback, right?
Yeah.
So George is turning 16. I go, yo, I'm gonna buy back the 5 Series, and I'll give you that as your first car. It's a too much car, but you know what? It's a good investment for me to buy that back, so I'm getting it at a good rate. I'm going to lease a new car, but that'll be your first car. And she goes, I'm not driving that car. I'll look like a rich kid. And I was like, hold on. Yeah, but I want to drive that car also, and it'll be in our fleet of cars, our 3 cars we have, and then you can drive that. She goes, no, Dad, I will not drive that. I want an Explorer. And I said, wait, Explorer's $52,000. She goes, yeah. I don't want to look like a rich kid. I'd rather you spend an extra $22,000 for me to not look like a rich kid.
What? Yeah, it's completely opposite of what it was 20 years ago.
Yeah, I was like, wait, when I was a kid, if you told me I could look rich, if you told me I could get a Jeep Cherokee with on it, I would be like, hell yeah, I got a cool dad. If you told me I had a cool dad, I had a nerd dad who never did anything, he was like a regular dude. And then you get a cool dad like me, and my daughters don't want it at all. We're going to the Dodgers game, and my daughters came in last night, and they're like, we don't want to go. And I was like, why? And they're like, the seats are too good. We just want to sit in the nosebleeds like everyone else. I was like, what are you talking about? They stab people in the nosebleeds.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of your dad, you cast Mark Hamill as your dad in the movie, man.
Yeah, that was a great get, man.
Yep.
Just getting to live with Mark Hamill for 3 months in Serbia was so fun. That guy is so generous with his time and his story.
Sure.
Like you would ask him any question, and he would go to the end to make sure he answered it for you.
Yeah, he's kind of a deep guy, too. Well, that's on social media, again. That's all I know him from.
Yeah, he's really into social media. I don't really follow him on social media. He's really into social media. He loves to stir the pot. Like
he does.
Yeah, politically.
Yeah.
He found out I wanted to party with Putin, and he got so upset. He's like, you're joking, right? And I was like, of course I'm joking, Mark.
hey, Bert.
There's a picture of Bert partying with Putin, and they both have their shirts off.
Yes, riding a bear.
I'm joking, Mark, but if Putin hears this and he wants to fly me over in a private jet, bro, we can get down. I'll polar plunge with you. I'll play hockey. We can ride horses. I don't care.
Hey, with the movie, and it's on Netflix, right?
Yeah, it's on Netflix. Stream number 1 for a month.
Your wife, did she get to pick out who played her?
She absolutely did.
Yeah,
she absolutely did. And listen, she made I can't crap on her decision because she was in a casting session, and you know how this redneck picked out who played her? She goes, everyone does the read, and one chick, this lady Stephanie, does the read, and she's eating a cracker in the read, like she's talking and eating a cracker in her audition. And Leanne gets done, she goes, "What were them crackers she was eating? I want to know what those crackers are. They look good." And I was like, "You're stuck on the crackers?" She goes, "Yeah, find out from that girl. We should cast her and find out what those crackers are." Well, those crackers are called flip sides. I don't know if you ever had flip sides.
I have.
No.
Oh, yeah.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
They're awesome. And now we're addicted to flip sides because damn Stephanie ate flip sides during her audition, and Leanne was turned on by the cracker.
Well, that must be a chick thing because my wife is all about flip sides.
You know what? I just remembered something. Bert, you first turned me on to combos.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
Yes,
Flip
years
sides.
ago.
Dude, combos are legit. The buffalo and blue cheese, I think they've kind of stalled. They haven't really taken any big swings with any new flavor profiles. I think that's because it's a Christian-run company and they're real safe. But I will tell you, when they came out with buffalo and blue cheese,
Yeah.
oh, get the hell out. I sucked those down like crazy. But if you give me a flip side and some pimento cheese,
Oh, yeah.
We just had pimento
It's
cheese
over.
in studio yesterday. That's
hot
weird.
dog, yeah.
my mouth is watering. Pimento cheese is so good on a fried chicken sandwich. Oh,
And you
tomato.
turned
I've been
Torg on to combo.
He did, and we would
You
talk
turned
about
me
it.
on to mushrooms.
Bert got me addicted to the pot.
Hey, Bert, but I got to tell you. So I'm watching a video that you had posted where you were on somebody's podcast, and it almost brought a tear to my eye. And to take a serious subject, the way you addressed, I'm always going to drink. I will always drink because people see you and you can handle it. You're an adult. Why not? But did somebody call you out on that, and you felt the need to answer it?
Oh yeah,
Because it was
not to get too serious about it, but like
poetic.
I live my life. I live my life to party. I live my life to have a good time. I don't live my life in a bunch of no's. But what I have to do is I have to live a healthy life so that I can do whatever I want and I can splurge and go crazy.
Yes.
And there's so many of my friends, people I love, absolutely in recovery, who for them the answer was just no. It wasn't like let's find moderation. Let's work out in the morning. Listen, I just got out of the pool. I'm doing this radio interview. My trainer's coming over at 8 a.m. We're working out for an hour and a half, and then I'm going to the Dodgers game, and I'm sucking down hot dogs and cold beers.
Yeah.
But that's the way I live my life. I like to get after it. I like to get an IV. I like to work out, but I like to party. I like to let loose. I like to let the horse run as fast as it can at times. And for me, it's about moderation. And if I can do it in diet, and I just lost 45 pounds, so if I can do it in diet, I can absolutely do it in alcohol and marijuana. So that's the way I live my life.
Right.
By the way, we should mention Bert is coming to Nationwide Arena Friday, April the 5th. Ticketmaster.com.
This Friday, yes.
Yes, Ticketmaster.com.
I'm coming back to Ohio to watch the Eclipse. I'm doing Chappelle.
Are you really?
Chappelle just opened his new club in Yellow Springs, and I'm coming in for one night. It's already sold out, but I'm coming in for one night, April 8th, when the Eclipse is there, to go watch the Eclipse.
Whoa.
And do a show at Chappelle's new club.
Boy, is that
It's
memorable.
It's sold out like real quick.
I bet, yeah, because
I heard his bar on his house is awesome.
You're here in the arena on Friday the 5th, and the Eclipse would be Monday the 8th. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, I'm going to be in Yellow Springs Monday the 8th to watch the Eclipse.
Beautiful. You ever get in awe when you hang out with other guy like a Chappelle or anybody, or is it just you guys are buddies?
No, absolutely. I mean, I'm very strict about like what I share about hanging out with a guy like Chappelle because his life is so public and private. But I will simply say that individual, Dave Chappelle, is by far the most generous, the sweetest, most thoughtful, insightful, brilliant man I've ever hung out with in my entire life. And I will not ever share anything that happens behind closed doors with him because I don't want to lose that opportunity to hang out with him one more time.
Yeah.
Respect.
He is everything you'd ever want him to be, and then some. And I'm telling you, I've hung out with brilliant men. I have a bunch of friends that are brilliant men. Dave Chappelle's the GOAT.
Hey, Bert, if people are new to you, because we've known you for years, like honestly, like 20 years, tell everybody if they don't know the story. This is like a Bert Kreischer flashback. Tell the Will Smith story.
Oh, God. So Rolling Stone magazine writes me up as the number one party animal in the country. I moved to
You're a kid. You're right out of college. Yeah.
Yeah, I moved to New York to start stand-up, and doing stand-up 6 months. Dude comes up to me and he's like, "Dude, I work for Will Smith. He's gonna love you. I think he wants to do a sitcom with you. I want you guys to meet." And I was like, "Will Smith? This is Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. This is 1997. This is like peak Will Smith, Wild Wild West Will Smith, Millennium Will Smith." So we go to the music studio where he's recording with Millennium, and they sit us down in a dance hall studio, 2 folding chairs, and I am going to make this development deal happen. Now, first of all, I love Will Smith, but I love hip-hop. And I tell him that when he sits down, I'm like, I love hip-hop. I love black people. You're black. I love everything. Like, I'm literally hammering him. And Will Smith at the end is like, I like you. I was like, I like you too. He was like, what are you doing tonight? And I was like, nothing. And he goes, let's go to the movies. I was like, cool. And so I leave, and I call my dad in the cab ride home, and he goes, how did it go? I said, good. He goes, what do you mean? I said, we're going to the movies. My dad's like, on a date? And I go, no. And he was like, what do you mean? and then my dad gets real quiet, and he goes, oh, buddy, I think he wants to have sex with you. I was like, what? He goes, it's very popular in Hollywood. These high-profile celebrities have had so many women, they get bored of chicks, and the only thing that really turns them on is to turn a young boy like yourself. And I'm like, Dad, that's impossible. I just hung out with him in dance studio. He's like, what? I was like, no, listen, Dad. I go, there's no way this is possible. He goes, buddy, what's more likely? The fact that the biggest movie star in the world wants to make a sitcom about your life and work with you, or that he's tired of chicks and he wants to have sex with you. I'm like, oh, my God, what do I do? He's like, you show up. He goes, you show up. So I showed up. I showed up to Planet Hollywood. He goes, I just want you to be protected. I show up to Planet Hollywood up in Columbus Circle. I get there, walk in. I'm like, is Will Smith here? They're like, no, celebrities don't come to Planet Hollywood. And I'm like, I'm supposed to watch a movie here with him? And they're like, that's not real. I sit down in the waiting room. I'm sitting there waiting, and this big dude, 6'7", 350 pounds, Charlie Mack, walks out of a like a hallway, looks down on the thing and looks at me. He goes, you Bert? And I go, yeah. And he goes, downstairs. I'm like, oh, my God. I'm going to have sex with him, too? Do I let him go first or last? I don't know, So I go downstairs, and downstairs in this waiting room of like this 15 by 15 with a velvet curtain around it are 10 other black dudes. And I'm like, oh, my God. This is going to be a very long night. Like, I got these 10 black dudes. I got Charlie Mack. I got Will Smith. You know he's bringing Jazzy Jeff. So I sit there, and I wait for Will. Will shows up like 5 minutes later I swear to God, with Jazzy Jeff. And he's like, hey, guys, this is Bert. And everyone's like, oh, yeah. And they start walking to me. I'm like, okay, here we go. And then the curtains open up, and there's this beautiful movie theater. And we sat, and Will told me, go get us seats. I'll get us shrimps and Long Island iced teas. And we watched American Pie. And at the end of the movie, he was like, yo, what did you think? And I said, it was great. And he was like, no, what about the room? I go, what do you mean? He's like, the guys. I was like, they're black? And he was like, no, you said you were a hip-hop fan. That's Biz Markie. That's Kool Mo D. That's Big Daddy Kane. I'm like, oh, my God.
Wow.
He goes, I thought you'd be impressed. I was like, I could have had sex with Biz Markie.
You're nuts.
Ticketmaster.com.
Yeah. I told that story in Philadelphia at the arena in front of Jazzy Jeff. And I go, do you remember this? And he goes, absolutely.
Hey, tell us, Bert, the difference between playing a club, a theater, and then
an
arena like nationwide. It's got to be is it different for a comedian?
Is it daunting?
No, I think the first time you do it, it's nerve-wracking. Like the first one I ever did was in Milwaukee or in Green Bay. And I was nervous. It was like, I think it was like 10,000 people, and I just was terrified. The more you do them, the more fun they are. And it's the same with theaters. The first time you do a theater, you run through your material so fast because there's no real crowd work and there's no like waitresses and interactions. You do a club, an hour in a club is 45 minutes in a theater, and it's 35 minutes in a arena.
Sure,
so you
well
really
put.
You have to have like an hour and 30 worth of material to do an arena. There's a reason that people at the highest level do them because you got to be a pretty competent comic. I think they're fun as crap. I personally think it's a really, really fun experience.
Do you have an opener? Is there an opener, Bert?
Yeah, I bring 2 openers usually.
Okay, so the crowd's ready to go.
Yeah.
Smart.
First of all, it's a real event. First of all, I travel with like a $3.7 million stage, okay? So I put a huge stage, huge monitors, great lighting system, great sound in there. I bring my own stuff. I have an 18-person crew that sets up everything the morning of. I have a camera that at the very beginning when we have a DJ, then we have a camera that goes to tops off, and we just go to dudes and have them rip their shirts off like a kiss cam, and we do that for 15 minutes. Then we have 3 openers, sometimes 3 openers, and then I come out. And it is a whole event. And the thing I love about it, different than a comedy club, is you have the autonomy of your evening. Like if you are going like, I'm going to go get something to drink, you can get up and go get something to drink. Or you can go get a hot dog, and the food options are through the roof, and you can get merch. And then you can climb up to the top. I love it. I love arenas, but nothing's. I mean, listen. I mean, the art form was created in comedy clubs. You're never going to beat the Columbus Funny Bone, especially the old one with the weird seating structure. You know, it's like
sure.
I love comedy clubs, but man, the arenas are fun as crap.
Yeah, right now one of your opening acts is doing a small town radio show talking about when they got the call to open for you. His dad told him he was going to have sex with you. See how it's flipped?
Well, it's going to be a long weekend for him because we got shows all weekend.
He's opening for Bert. Yeah,
Chicago, Knoxville, Columbus.
Hey, did you ever meet P. Diddy? That stuff's weird right now, man.
Yeah, I haven't. I don't know. I got so excited when he got on the private jet to go to Cape Verde.
Like OJ.
Like, OJ.
Yeah.
OJ all back again.
We thought the same.
Oh, man. Ticketmaster.com.
Friday night.
April 5th. Yes, Friday night. Bert, thanks so much, man.
Love it.
I love you guys. It is so good talking to you. I will see you soon.
All right, take care,
thanks,
man.
Bert.
Bye.